Three boys.
One protected area.
Presents
Catch the Poudre.
The Catch the Poudre starts near the Continental Divide and flows north of the Rocky Mountains. Then it travels east through the Poudre Canyon, which is what we will be talking about today, and then emerges in the foothills near Fort Collins. The Poudre River originated on stolen land. French fur trappers in the 1800s were the first white settlement in the area, was later followed up by farmers in the mid-1800s. The results of white settlers in the area kicked out native tribes who were forced up to the Wind River Reservation up in Wyoming. In 1968, the Wild and Scenic River Act was passed, which declared the Poudre River as a potential candidate. Then, a study in 1981 verified 83 miles of the Poudre River as wild and scenic. But in 1986, after a battle between communities, they settled 75 miles designated as wild and scenic, leaving 7 miles open to development. The major actors and stakeholders within the Poudre River are environmentalists, Save the Poudre, urbanists, recreationalists, farmers, and industrialists. The IUCN category that the Poudre River falls under is Category 5, Protected Landscape or Seascape. There's a large portion of history that still lives on at the Poudre River. For example, the Mishawaka and some of the houses and bridges from the late 1900s.
Three prominent threats to the Poudre are forest fires, people, and the creation of the Glade Reservoir. Our focal threat is forest fires. Anyone who drives up the Poudre cannot help but notice the black-coated trees and scorched soil from past fires. Over the past 10 years, large wildfires have burned over 300,000 acres in the Poudre River watershed, including the largest wildfire in Colorado history, the Cameron Peak Fire of 2020. Unfortunately, the Poudre has been plagued by fires in recent history, and it is easy to predict more to come. These fires pose a massive threat to the natural landscape and all living things in and around it. Climate change over the years has put northern Colorado in a drought where the Poudre Canyon struggled to stay out of a fire ban. With years of being in droughts through the summer and fall time, it has killed off many trees that struggled to fight against the pine beetles. Drought leads to brush becoming very dry and flammable, with human interaction or lightning striking tall dead trees has led to 2 major forest fires in the last 20 years. As a result of the suppression of forest fires since the 1960s, there's a lot of timber and brush that had not been burned as it did throughout history. This has led to the fires being bigger and more intense as a result of fire having been removed from the system. This history of fire suppression has led to larger fires, such as the Cameron Peak Fire, which decimated the Cache la Poudre watershed, polluting the river and neighboring forest.
These are the principles to manage safety for the public, but also trying to manage the land to where it can come back on its own without disturbance of human interaction. Without regulation, the burn scar could lead to deaths related to trees falling, while also having the soil gain its roots back for it to become stable ground again, with flash flooding occurring when it rains hard to make a hazard for people in the canyon. Our main threat, fire, is being managed by the Larimer County Forest Service. They are doing mulch drops to help prevent the ground from being washed out, which can decrease the overall water quality of the Poudre, while also doing slash burns and many other things to help prevent the fire. Our management principles are dealing with threats may require long-term activity, such as trying to recover the forest from the Cameron Peak Fire back in 2020. This process will take over 4 years, seeing results along with shifting baseline syndrome. This has affected the management planning as the Poudre has evolved and become a well-known protected area. Along with effective community education will help reduce threats in protected areas while educating the community on flash floods, along with leaving the forest untouched, leaving no trace behind.
Thank you for listening to our presentation about the Catch la Poudre.